Am I the meanest? Sure enough. Am I the baddest? Sure enough. Catching bullets with his teeth. Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about. We talking about some Bruce Leroy, but let's get into the St. Canard Files, the Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and
I'm Mike Russo, and who's going to want to sit around and listen to us for a half an hour?
They broke the fourth wall.
They did. I love the ending of this episode. It has a great joke at the end there. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, Mike, man, we got an episode today that has a little bit to do with some martial arts. Did you grow up watching martial arts?
Not really. Like most kids in my generation, of course, I watched the Karate Kid movies. Oh, and of course, I was one of the world's biggest Ninja Turtle fan as a kid. So okay. I guess that counts, right?
Yeah, that definitely counts. I'm a little different. Of course, I watched all of those, but I was one of those guys who watched those Bruce Lee movies and karate and kung fu flicks and stuff that would come on Fox on Sundays. And I had one of those old school TV with the vertical holes and stuff, so I had to get the vertical hole position right so I could read the subtitles. I had all the ninja movies, Ninja 1, Ninja Revenge, Ninja 3, The Domination. I was really into that stuff growing up, man. I can't explain. I think my brother got me into that stuff. So would you say the Karate Kid or Ninja Turtles your favorite movie?
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, because I was huge into that. Me and all my friends were running around doing Ninja Turtle karate poses and weapons and stuff like that. I was just of the right age for that.
Okay, and obviously the first one's your favorite, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I like the second one too. I have a lot of nostalgia for those first two. Okay. Not the third one though.
Oh, I wouldn't even ask you about the third one.
That one's really bad. But the first two I have a lot of nostalgia for. I saw both of those in the movie theater.
Have you watched any Bruce Lee movies?
No, I'm not really too acquainted with Bruce Lee. I mean, I know who he is, but I've never really seen his movies.
Okay, what about Van Damme?
No. Again, I know who he is. Just via like
that just wasn't your style. Huh?
This wasn't my style. No.
Okay. I would say with Van Damme, my favorite movie of his was probably Bloodsport. With Bruce Lee, I would go between Enter the Dragon and The Game of Death. I love those two for Bruce Lee. Last Dragon is really up there. That was my intro when I said, "Who's the meanest?" Sure enough, that was a bad guy.
That's what that was from. Okay.
Yeah, The Last Dragon. Ernie Reyes Jr. was in that movie. He was like a 6-7-year-old kid in that movie doing some bad karate moves, man.
No, I know who that is. He was in one of the Turtle movies.
Yeah, he was in two of them. He was in the suit of Donatello in the first one.
And then he was Kino in the second one.
Yeah, so he was in two of them, and he's actually in a movie that I like. But I will warn you, it's one of those movies that's a bad movie, but you just happen to like it. It's a movie called Surf Ninjas. It's a bad movie, really bad movie.
Hey, don't look at me. I watch Japanese monster films, so I'm not going to judge.
Okay. Before we move on, this is also martial arts. This is the weekend. We're recording this the weekend of the Mortal Kombat movie coming out. Mike, have you watched it?
No, I heard it's good.
Okay, I like it. My peers is 50-50. I notice half love it, the other half hates it. So I don't think there's any in between. I haven't seen nobody say hey, it's okay. I haven't seen that yet. So
no, I did just get done finishing. Oh shoot, I did just get done finishing The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Don't spoil it. I'm on episode 3 right now.
Oh, you're halfway through. It was good. I won't spoil it, though, for you or anybody else who hasn't finished watching it. Okay. It was good.
Yeah, I think after I finish watching that, I'm going to try The Mandalorian. I still have not got past episode 4.
I haven't even given it a shot yet.
Okay.
I've got so many other things on my watch list right now. I just finished marathoning Futurama.
Oh, okay.
So I gotta think of something else to marathon while I'm still home in quarantine. We had a little coronavirus scare at my job, so I'm in quarantine right now. But finding lots of stuff to watch. But I'm
Um,
okay though. I'm okay. I had my second Pfizer shot last weekend,
hmm
so
Now
I'm feeling good.
your wife getting better?
Yes. She's getting her second Pfizer shot in a week or two.
Okay. All right. And she's quarantined as well, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I just got
By
my
the time this one drops, obviously that's all going to be over with. But
okay.
then just getting everyone a window into my life right now. It's crazy.
All right. Well, last thing I'm gonna mention, Mike, before we get into this episode, we're still doing really good on time, and I got a feeling you're gonna kind of breeze through this episode. Um, I bought a new couch,
All right.
and I have not left this couch for 3 days. I've slept on it 2 nights in a row. It's so comfortable. I noticed the dog has been sleeping with me too. I'm in
Aw,
love with this couch, dude.
nice,
I'm in love
nice.
with it. I even did our
I
Saturday
haven't
night
left my
Zoom
bed in a
chat.
week, so I totally feel you.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, what episode are we doing today?
We're doing Kung Fooled.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, it's the first Darkwing Duck episode I've encountered so far since Disney put the content warning labels before problematic episodes. So this is the first one I found so far with that warning. I'm sure there are others. I think they put one in front of Twin Dances with Bigfoot, but I haven't gone back to check. But this is the first one I found that has it.
hmm
And I mention that now because while researching this episode, and I'll mention it when we get to this relevant bit of information, that it's interesting to me that this one takes place in China, and it's toward the end of the series run on the Disney Afternoon. 3 other shows did China episodes toward the end of their runs.
hmm
Rescue Rangers episode Puffed Rangers, the Tailspin episode Last Horizons, and the Quack Pack episode Feats of Clay, and this Darkwing episode all take place in China. This one and the Rescue Rangers episode both have content warnings, and of course, what happened to that Tailspin episode.
Yeah, that was not on Disney Plus, but it's on the DVD though.
Yeah, thank goodness.
hmm
Honestly though, I don't find, aside from maybe one or two minor things, I don't find all that much problematic about this one. I think they were just covering their bases with that content warning.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I'm with you. I see one or two bad things that could be stereotypical. I get the Tailspin one though. That
Well,
one,
the
yeah, that
Chinese
one,
pandas are the bad guys.
yeah.
I can see that being a problem.
Yeah. So I get the Tailspin one. I don't recall Chip and Dale because I'm not a Chip and Dale guy like that. So I've only seen like maybe 20 episodes of Chip and Dale.
Yeah, that's the one where the Rescue Rangers end up in a box of cereal and they travel to China where they're shrinking cars and they're putting them in boxes of cereal, and it
Mhm.
actually has like human Asian stereotypes, which I can see why that one has the content warning. This one though, aside from maybe one character, I honestly don't think it's all that bad.
Yeah, same here. All right, let's go ahead and get into this, Mike. What is our production air date order?
Well, we don't have an air date again because the dates I was given don't line up.
hmm
But this is 71st in production order. It is the second to the last Disney Afternoon episode.
One
So
more.
one more. Yeah, this is
hmm
we're almost done with the Disney Afternoon. Um, and our story editor was Doug Langdale. So here he is, and we have a couple of new writers. One of them, his name is Victor Cook. This is his only writing credit, but he was a director on other Disney shows, including 101 Dalmatians, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Legends of Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch, and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He also produced a lot of Scooby-Doo stuff for Warner Brothers.
hmm
The other writer is George Johnston, who only wrote this, and that's it.
Mm.
So that's it. I don't have anything to say about them or their work because this is their only, major Disney thing of this era. No Rescue Rangers, no Tailspin, no nothing. And animation by Sun Wu. I think this is better than Dirty Something, but not as good as Quiverwing Quack or Star is Scorned. Thoughts?
Uh, uh,
It's adequate for Sun Wu.
yeah, it's average. Nothing popped to me, man.
No, not really. I agree
No,
with you on that.
yeah, nothing popped to me. It's okay. It didn't bother me. I didn't hate it, but nothing like wowed me about this episode. It's not their worst.
No, absolutely not. It's just typical Sun Wu, I'd say.
Yeah, it got by. It's good enough. Look, I'm content with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
All right, so you ready for this plot?
Yeah, why don't you take it away?
All right, we got Moriarty. He's back. We haven't seen him in a while, right?
We have not seen Moriarty in a long time. The last episode was a Ducky Phobia, and I think that was 5 weeks into the show.
Oh wow.
It's kind of interesting. Maybe you'll agree with me that the show is ending pretty much on Disney Afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But last week we had Ammonia Pine, and this week we have a cameo by Moriarty. It's like we're kind of wrapping up with characters who are really early on,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny. Like I get why they brought Moriarty back because his inclusion makes sense with what they have to do here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny to see him though after so long.
Yeah. Well, he's being chased. We don't know by who quite yet. He's hopping fences. He's running through alleys. He's jumping around. And he believes he's gotten away by whoever's chasing him.
Yep, but that doesn't last long because then we get a big shadow and we hear, "I am the special news bulletin that interrupts your favorite show." It is, of course, Darkwing Duck.
Mm-hmm. But his interest gets interrupted by Gauze.
Yeah, she's in the Ratcatcher with Launchpad. She's excited about a supervillain. She goes, "Let's squish him." She shouldn't be here. She should be home. He says he'll deal with her later.
Yeah.
And they go after Moriarty.
Yeah, he escapes. He starts digging as always. He digs underground. And but this time Darkwing and Launchpad and Gauze, they use the Ratcatcher and they trail on through his digging hole.
Yeah, and they follow him, and we see, thanks to a cutaway of the entire planet, is they're actually burrowing through the earth all the way out to the other side.
Mm-hmm. Kind of down under, but we didn't get down under. I was really shocked the first time I ever saw this episode.
Yeah, most cartoons you either end up in Australia or they end up in where we are here.
Yeah. Okay. So they end up in Kung Pao City, right?
Kung Pao City. Obviously that's supposed to be China. I don't think they ever go out and say China though. They just call it Kung Pao City, right?
Yeah.
No one actually ever says China.
Yeah, but we know it's China.
Yeah, obviously we do.
Yeah, so Darkwing, he's out. He sees Moriarty, he's making a run for it, and he shoots a plunger at him with the gas gun.
They do that thing that they did all the way back in Darkly Dawns the Duck where he hits a moving object and it pulls his arm along before it pulls him away with it too. They did that twice in Darkly Dawns the Duck. I think this might be a callback to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Well, he shoots it and it sticks to a truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it sticks to the truck and it finally pulls him, he gets tangled up with Moriarty and they get tied up around a telephone pole.
Yep, but that's the end of Moriarty. They toss him in a police wagon, and then they realize where they are. Mm-hmm. And Launchpad is like, "Don't you know somebody here?"
Yeah, and it's his old master, Goose Lee. I wonder who that's a reference to.
Oh, gee, you think?
But LP reveals Darkwing never got his black belt.
In Quack Fu.
Yep.
All these puns.
Yeah, but DW, he's upset because he was never respected by his kung fu master.
No, because he never earned his black belt, because even though he was great at lots of other martial arts moves, a lot of crazy ones are name dropped, including the web kick and the nostril flip, he couldn't master the belly bounce.
Well, Gosalyn figured that one out pretty quick, which one he couldn't master.
Yeah, every time he tries it, he hurts himself. And he also mentions that Goose Lee's nickname for him was Grubworm, which sounds completely insulting, but Darkwing kind of tries to paint it as a pet name, but it clearly is an insult.
Yeah. So they start walking up the mountain and stuff to go see his old master, and when they arrive, he's hanging out at the pool.
Yeah, Gosalyn has a line that me and my sister always love to repeat when we first saw the episode. Darkwing says that Goose Lee took a vow of poverty. He wears nothing but rags and lives in a humble shack. And they look, and he's living in a mansion. And Gosalyn's line is, "Wow, I wish we lived in humble shack, not a humble shack." She says, "We lived in humble shack." And me and my sister thought that was so funny. We always used to repeat that as kids. One of my favorite Gosalyn lines in the episode. But yeah, he's lounging by the pool.
Okay, yeah, he's lounging by the pool. He's got some hot babes.
Master Lee's honeys.
Yeah. And but he reveals to Darkwing that Darkwing was his biggest disappointment.
Yup. So Goose Lee is voiced by Robert Ito. He's of Japanese descent, born in 1931. He started acting in the 60s. He started voice acting in the 80s, a lot of the usual stuff. Always as some sort of Asian character. So they definitely wanted to use his ethnicity with the characters he voiced. Mm-hmm. He appeared in all the Disney series I mentioned earlier. He appeared as an Asian character in Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and Quack Pack, as well as a Bonkers episode set in Japan. So whenever Disney needed him for an episode set in China or Japan, they chose Robert Ito. His last credit was 2010. He's still alive, though. Oh, so wow. He voices Goose Lee, who jumps back and forth from a very stereotypical sensei voice to a very Caucasian big shot.
Yeah.
He jumps back and forth, basically, whenever the situation calls for it.
Yeah, and Goose Lee reveals to Darkwing that he's disappointed because he abandoned Quack Fu.
He sold out.
Yeah.
And Darkwing accuses him of the same thing.
Yeah, and then but Master Lee reveals that he's been making videotapes on Quack Fu and stuff like that, and he's been making a lot of money and doing commercials and what do they call it, infomercials?
Yeah, like self-help videos.
Mm-hmm. And
action figures and books.
Yeah, and then he reveals his big dream, which is kind of like a Disney World plan or like a Universal Studios type thing, Ninja Land.
Yeah, he wants to enlighten everybody.
Yeah. And then, but Darkwing starts begging to be trained again.
Yeah, he wants to earn that black belt. He wants to learn the ways of Quack Fu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Darkwing agrees to be in his videos, but he's not going to play the role he quite thinks he's going to play.
Darkwing gets a blow to the ego when the commercial has him with a girl, and Master Lee's like the weak and helpless date, and Darkwing thinks he's the hero of the commercial, but it's the girl, and he's the weak and helpless date.
Yeah, he's the weakling.
Yeah. Of course, nearby Gosalyn and Launchpad are watching, and Gosalyn decides to leave. She's bored. I always love that she says this is as boring as watching grout mildew.
I didn't get that reference.
Watching grout. Have you ever seen grout turn to mildew in your bathroom?
No.
Slow process. It's like watching paint dry, but grout mildew. It's so much more specific. To me, that makes it funnier.
Okay.
We have a few more Quack Fu moves: the eyelid twist and the navel spin. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Gosalyn goes off looking for an arcade.
Yeah, but she runs into the monkey ninjas.
Monkey ninjas. Now we saw a monkey ninja in Goose Lee's commercial. Connecting any dots yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who the villain of this episode is.
But as a kid, I didn't catch it.
Of course, I didn't either. But as an adult, I know I've seen it, but like you can piece it together really easy as an adult.
Yeah.
They go after Gosalyn, but she's saved.
Yeah, she's saved by Duckling.
Duckling looks like an Asian honker. He's not voiced by Katie Lee. He's voiced by Candy Milo. We talked about Candy Milo a year and a half ago. I think she was Lamont from Paradox.
Oh, wow. That's so long ago.
Yeah, I know her best as the replacement voice for Dexter in Dexter's Lab after Christine Cavanaugh retired.
Okay.
So she's Duckling. I'm going to say I think Duckling might be the most problematic part of the episode because he has the slanty Asian eyes, of course. He's very pacifist. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. And the voice is very punny. Duckling, it's like, I think he is definitely the part of the episode I think hasn't aged the best.
Yeah. Well, as he saved Duckling, Master Lee's riding with Darkwing and the Ratcatcher.
Darkwing says the longer it takes him to find Gosalyn, the quicker he goes to the poorhouse.
Mm-hmm. But Master Lee's not he doesn't approve of the rat catcher.
No, he doesn't approve of anything Darkwing does.
Mm-hmm.
So they pass a museum, and a museum curator comes running out, screaming that they're stealing the dragon's horn. The curator gets one line. That's Hal Rail. We talked about him way back.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same curator from Brush with Oblivion, the same pig.
Oh, okay.
You didn't notice?
Nah, I didn't notice.
Same guy.
Okay. And, Darkwing wants to impress Master Lee while this is happening.
So he fights and the horn's being stolen by more ninja monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
He uses the beak bash, the toe twister, and the double web kick to fight the monkeys.
But he didn't use one special move.
He didn't use the belly bounce. And he's distracted just long enough for the ninja monkeys to pound him with the giant horn, and they leave with it.
Yeah. And then this is when Master Lee reveals he must undergo Quack Tao?
Yeah, I like when he says it. Darkwing and Launchpad are like, the Quack Tao. What's the Quack Tao? I mean, I get Launchpad wouldn't know it, but...
Yeah. And the ninjas, what their plan is they want to bring back a ancient dragon, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And Ling mentions they're trying to scare everyone out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So a big developer can buy up the land. It's at this point, I think, even as a kid, I think we all figured out who the villain was.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we know now who our villain is.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not revealed for a few minutes still, though.
Yeah. So then, Gosalyn and Duckling, they're at the ninja's hideout, and one of the ninjas starts speaking. Who was that voiced by?
That's also Hal Rail.
Okay, that's Hal Rail as well?
Yeah.
And he reveals their whole plan. But Gosalyn, she wants to be macho, as always, and she wants to go down there and take care of business.
Yeah, she's painting herself as the hero. But when she realizes, like, anybody who opposes them, they say is going to die, she realizes they're in over their head. And when she tries to crawl across the rafters, it breaks and she drops to the ground and they kidnap her.
Yeah. It didn't go so well, but she was also hoping somebody would help her while she was down there.
She's calling up to Ling, but he kind of sneaks away. He doesn't come down to save her.
Yeah. So now she's held captive. She's, like, locked up in a small little jail. I don't want to say jail cell, but like a room.
Like a holding cell.
Yeah, like a holding cell. And she's upset with Duckling, And
she says he should change his name to Weakling.
Yeah, but he shows up. He comes in with some samurai size or something.
Yeah, just like Raphael. He kicks the door down, and he tells her he didn't save her then because he didn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So he's very pacifist.
Yeah, and then we cut to Goose and Goose Lee and Darkwing.
Yep. They're training. He's trying to do the Quack Pow with him. The Quack Tao, I mean. He tries to do the belly bounce against a board, but the board hits Darkwing back. Right after Darkwing says that boards don't hit back.
Yeah.
and then what's the final training he tries to do with him?
He ties him up.
But the only thing that's sticking out is his belly.
Yeah, is his belly. That's the only thing sticking out. But there's a animation area here, Mike. Did you catch it?
Yes, I did. Darkwing is wearing a karate robe in this entire scene, but for one shot, he's wearing the usual Darkwing outfit.
And then it goes back to the karate outfit.
Did you notice they draw a belly button on him?
No, I didn't catch that. I did not catch that.
Yeah, he has a belly button.
Yeah. So he's tied up and he's attacked.
Yeah, this big fight cloud. Darkwing's getting beaten up. But then Gosalyn and Ling show up to tell them what's going on. Yeah. What do they say?
They said they seen the horn.
Yeah, and Goosely doesn't believe them. He says, the dragon they're after is just a legend. But, Duckling says, no, there's a dragon statue out in the jungle. I've seen it.
Yeah. So so basically now the plan is he wants to go see it. So Ling is going to take them there.
Yep. They go into the jungle. They find the statue.
Yep. And now it's finally revealed who's the mastermind.
Yep. Who is it? Of course. Who is it?
Master Lee.
Master Lee is our villain, as if we couldn't figure that one out by now.
Yep.
He has a dragon horn. He's in league with the ninjas. And the ninjas start to fight the good guys, but who starts to kick butt?
Darkwing.
Well, not Darkwing,
Oh
Duckling.
yeah, Duckling, yeah.
And he's apologizing as he's doing it too.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not usually like this. He can kick butt.
And Darkwing shoots the gas gun, but Master Lee uses the belly bounce on it.
Knocks it right back at them, yeah.
Yeah.
And
then
then
oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm gonna say he manages to get the horn on top of the dragon, and the dragon comes to life.
Yeah, but there's a problem with the dragon, Mike.
Yeah, this is my least favorite part of the episode. The dragon, he's 2,000 years old, but he's a big baby.
Yeah, that did ruin the episode. Like that. At this point, I was okay with the episode. You know, okay, Master Lee secretive as the villain, even though we saw it. You know, I knew it was coming. But
it's a kid's show. That's okay.
Yeah, the dragon kind of.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
It's babbling like a baby. It's trying to find toys. He's pinkish red. I just don't like him. Yeah. I wish they had done something a bit more dramatic, like a really more fierce Chinese dragon, something cool. Mm-hmm. It didn't need to be a baby. I don't know why it's a baby.
Yeah, they didn't even have to have it spit fire and stuff to make make it more, still make it kid friendly. It didn't have to spit fire. Just kind of make him big and dangerous, mean. And have smoke coming out his nostrils.
The fire does lead to what I think is one of the most definitive Darkwing is a cartoon character moments. Mm-hmm. He gets hit with the flame, gets turned into a burnt matchstick, and then evaporates into ash. That can only happen to Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, that can't happen to Baloo, that can't happen to Scrooge, that can't happen to Chip and Dale, but that can happen to Darkwing.
Yeah. So the dragon wants toys, and he sees Darkwing in them, and he causes an avalanche.
Yeah, everyone's trapped inside a cave, including Master Lee.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Gosalyn scene is Master Lee is like, oh, where did I go wrong? I didn't mean for this to happen. And Gosalyn goes, there, don't beat yourself up. Let me do it. And then kicks him in the shin.
Yeah, because he finally started feeling guilty about what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he didn't mean to, really be the bad guy. He just wanted to open Ninja Land, but now things have gotten out of control.
Yeah, so then we got the dragon. He's terrorizing the city. He's looking for toys. He's riding the train and
using trucks like roller skates.
Yeah, he crashes into the was it like a river or something?
Yeah, the bay.
Yeah, the bay, and he finds boats. He thinks they're toy boats.
I kind of wish, in these night scenes, Kung Pao City wasn't designed so much like St. Canard. There are some scenes where it just looks like St. Canard. I wish they did something different with the background art. And I wish it was more of an interesting looking city. There is one background, I swear, it looks just like St. Canard. I wish they had used a little bit more imagination with this. But along comes Darkwing, Goose Lee. They're on the Ratcatcher. Goose Lee keeps calling him Grubworm, and Darkwing finally snaps.
Yeah, he does, man. And then he lets us know he never liked the Grubworm name.
He's like, quit calling me Grubworm. I hate it.
Yeah, so then Darkwing has a plan. He wants to trick the dragon, and he has the dragon chasing him around, and then he has Gosalyn and was it Gosalyn and Duckling?
Duckling, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they trip him.
Yeah, the dragon falls, crushes Darkwing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Goose Lee shows up and says, Darkwing, my son.
Yeah. Oh, and man, Darkwing's ego.
Yes. He goes, he called me son.
Yeah.
And Darkwing's got, it basically it energizes him. He gets a lot of energy now. He's he feels proud of himself.
Yeah. And then we get an entrance.
He does have an entrance. He says, I am the bubble gum that sticks in your hair. I feel like he said that one before somewhere. I know I've heard that one, not just in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, then, Darkwing goes against the dragon and accidentally, how does this happen, Mike? Explain to them how this happened, where he finally does the move he's been wanting to do the whole episode.
He gets smacked with the tail, correct? The dragon hits him with his tail. Mm-hmm. Darkwing flies into the power lines. he looks at the audience. He's like, uh-oh. Bounces right back with his stomach sticking out and slams the dragon right in the face.
Yep, he finally did the move.
Knocks him flat.
Yep, and he was crying on the way down, man.
He's a baby. The dragon, I
Yeah.
mean, not Darkwing.
But somebody
Dark,
was impressed. Somebody was
yeah,
impressed.
Goofy is very impressed. Although Darkwing says he needs a doctor.
Yeah, so yeah, Master Lee reveals to him that was the best he's ever seen the belly bounce.
Yeah, and when we come back the next scene, he's got his black belt.
Yeah, and Master Lee finally calls him a true Quack Fu warrior.
Yes. Master Lee gets to open Ninja Land, and even the dragon gets what he wants. He gets to play. They put him in Ninja Land working the rides.
Yeah, but now Darkwing comes up with his own idea that he's kind of remixing from Master Lee.
Yeah, he decides to create his own set of videos, self-defense the Darkwing way.
Oh Lord.
And this is such a great end gag that elevates the entire episode.
Mhm.
Gosalyn says, "Yeah, right, Dad. Who'd want to sit and watch you for a half an hour?" And then suddenly her, Darkwing, and Launchpad realize they're being watched. They
Mhm.
look at the audience and they wave to us with their index fingers.
Yep.
Like, "Hi, we see you. We know you're watching us too." And
Mhm.
it's such a great ending.
Yeah. They break the fourth wall.
Like, by now, if you're a dedicated Darkwing fan, you've sat through 77 half hours of Darkwing Duck. So you definitely do want to watch Darkwing Duck. And it acknowledges that. And I love it. It's such a great ending.
Oh yeah. All right. So Mike, that wraps up Kung Fu.
Yeah, I like it. Not a favorite. Not one I go back and rewatch often.
Mhm.
Probably middle to lower tier. But there's nothing wrong with it.
Besides Dragon.
Yeah, I don't like the dragon. The dragon's very corny.
Okay. Well, how many gas gun canisters would you give it?
I'm giving it a 2.5, like it's dead average.
Okay.
The animation's fine. It's nice to learn about Darkwing's like pet. I know with Tat Stone's always like there's no continuity, there's no canon with Darkwing Duck,
Mhm.
but I feel like this is something at least we can accept as actual canon. Like, why not, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is how he learned Quack Fu. Like, I would totally buy this as a piece of Darkwing Duck's origin.
Okay.
And I think it's great we learned this. Gosalyn's funny. Launchpad's funny. I'd say Goose Lee and Duckling aren't very memorable.
Mhm.
But it's fine. It's not a bad episode at all. I just think it's like purely average. How about you?
I'm gonna go. I'm with you on average, but I'm gonna go slightly below average. Oh, how many gas gun canisters?
Oh,
did
two
you
and a
give?
half.
2.5. Okay. I'm gonna give it 2 gas gun canisters. I do like that we get a different background setting with China.
Isn't that
But
nice to like
yeah.
actually get out of Saint Canard for once?
hmm But I am with you. They could have did so much more with the background, man. To really sell that we were in China. Because, like you said, there's times where we don't feel it, but there are certain scenes where you kind of do. With the fish and the stereotypes and stuff like that.
Will, it felt like a lot of the backgrounds were just Saint Canard with some minor adjustments to make it look like China.
Yeah. I did like the ninjas as the minions. I was cool with the ninjas. Are they memorable? No, but for one episode, yes.
It's
they're
cool
good.
to get a different species
Yeah.
as the ninjas. We haven't seen many monkeys in Darkwing Duck, have we? Besides gorillas, we haven't actually seen like monkeys, which is a cool change of pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. The dragon ruined it for me. The animation. I know I already kind of touched on it. It's just a little. They could have did so much more. It's kind of disappointing though, Mike.
Yeah, we're late in the series. This is pretty much how it's gonna look for the rest of the show. We're not gonna have those standout moments anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of not really shown that much, but I do like the Gosalyn and Duckling subplot because it kind of puts you back with Gosalyn and Honker.
Would you count this as a Honker appearance?
I wouldn't. Because it's not Katie Lee, man.
Yeah. You know what? If Katie was voicing Duckling, I'd be more inclined to say, yeah, this is Honker.
Yeah.
But it's not even Katie.
Yeah. But you still kind of get that vibe, though. You still kind of get the vibe. So I'm okay with that. Goose Lee, I guess as a kid that twist works. As an adult, it doesn't. So that's why I'm punishing it,
Do you want to rate him as the villain or nah?
Nah, I'll pass. If you want to, I will, but I really okay.
In the end, he's not even much of a villain.
Okay. So that's Kung Fu, Mike. What episode we got next?
Okay, well, next week is the very last Disney Afternoon episode of Darkwing Duck. This is it. This is the end. We're talking about Bad Luck Duck.
That's a Negaduck episode, ain't it?
We're ending on Negaduck. So
Okay.
that's something to look forward to. You know,
don't-
not one of my favorites, but I think it's fun.
It's average, right?
Yeah, it has its moments.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong with Negaduck, honestly.
Now, are you sad to see the Disney Afternoon episodes go, or are you content where we finally get the ABC season 2?
Well, it'll be interesting to talk about ABC season 2,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm not a huge fan of a lot of those episodes.
Mhm.
But it'll still be interesting to talk about them. So I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it. I mean, it's still sad to see the Disney Afternoon episodes end. It's
Mhm.
still a shame it has to end, but 65 episodes, still a lot of Darkwing Duck content. But you know what? I'm glad it ended before it starts to get stale. Would you have wanted more episodes like Dirty Something?
No.
That's where I think that's where we would have went if it hadn't ended now.
Okay.
To Darkwing Duck's credit, other Disney Afternoon shows start to kind of they peter out. They kind of lose my interest the later it gets into the show.
Mhm.
That never happens with Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the show is getting stale.
No.
You know?
I'm still okay with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
I will admit though, this ABC season 2, I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here. I didn't see it for years later, Mike.
So you don't have the nostalgic attachment to it.
Nah, I mean, I didn't see it till I was like maybe 14, 15 years old, so I was already a teenager.
Yeah, well, even with nostalgia on my side, I'm not a huge fan of those episodes. A few of them have their moments,
Mhm.
but we have 13 straight weeks to talk about those. We'll get to them.
Yeah, we'll get to them. All right, so Mike, for the people who are tuning in for the first time, where can they find us?
All right, we are so lucky to be on so many podcast apps, including Stitcher, Spotify, Google, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and so many more I haven't mentioned, as well as YouTube. Will, do you have any shout-outs?
I have a shout out, but it's not for a particular named person. It's for a particular group of people. All right. I checked our analytics on YouTube today, and I noticed 58% of our listeners don't subscribe to us, Mike.
Come on, how hard is that? Click a button.
It's free. It doesn't cost. Please click. Help us out with our what's it called? Algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Help us out, man. Help us out.
I always used to roll my eyes when YouTube content creators are like, please subscribe, it helps our numbers, and I always was like, come on. But now that we've done it, it's like that would definitely help.
Yeah.
And it would help you guys because it ends up in your video library.
Mhm.
I mean, it shows up. You don't even have to look for us when new episodes drop.
Yeah,
Why not? Just do it.
Yeah, so 58% of you listen to our podcast. Just click that subscribe button. Help us out. And then I think for our podcast platforms, the Spotifys, the Apples, the Stitchers, our numbers really improved. Only 21% don't subscribe now.
That's not bad.
Not bad. So, but you 21%. Come on, man. Follow us.
I mean, I thought that's even more essential. I subscribe to us as soon as we got episodes on Spotify because it shows up in my library.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier than searching for it.
Mm-hmm. So you 21% and you 58% on YouTube. Come on, guys. Click that subscribe button. So those are my shout outs.
And don't think just because we're getting towards the end of the series that the podcast is over. We have more things planned.
Yeah.
This podcast is not just going to end just because Darkwing Duck the series is ending. So there is going to be more content. So don't think, oh, they're almost done. Why bother now? Do it.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, that's it for this episode. We will see you next week. What's the name of next week's episode again, Mike?
Bad Luck Duck.
Bad Luck Duck. So Mr. Negaduck will be around. All right, so guys, remember, stay dangerous and have a good night.
Keep practicing the belly bounce, guys. You'll do it.
Oh, good one, Mike.
Have a good night.